So friends, we are starting with the revision part of aphorisms 231 to 235. In this we studied in 231 they explain about the definition of intermittent diseases. That is, intermittent diseases are those diseases that recur at certain periods. Then intermittent diseases divided into typical intermittent diseases, atypical intermittent diseases, and alternating diseases. And typical intermittent diseases again divided into febrile and non-febrile intermittent diseases. In this alternating diseases, these are explaining in aphorism number 232. And in this, the alternating diseases are those diseases in which two disease processes alternates with each other. That is, alternating diseases are mostly due to the chronic miasm, usually due to SORA. But sometimes it gets complicated with syphilitic miasm, and they should be treated accordingly. And it may be a two-phase or a three-phase or a state alternating diseases. And under the aphorism number 232, they give the footnote, and this footnote contains the examples of alternating diseases. In this, for example, the first example is the leg pain alternates with ophthalmia. Then second example may be convulsions and spasms alternates with any other affections in the body, or there may be some complicated alternating diseases that may be three-phase, and these are regarding to the some of the mental symptoms. So this is regarding the alternating diseases. Now in aphorism number 234, it is regarding the typical intermittent diseases. And what is mean by typical intermittent diseases are those diseases where the abnormal disease state returns at a fixed period, while in between the two paroxysms the individual is totally free from signs and symptoms. It may take example as a headache on every Sunday. So typical intermittent diseases again divided into two parts, that is non-febrile intermittent diseases and febrile intermittent diseases. So non-febrile intermittent diseases are the diseases in which the fever is absent, and in this disease condition we call it as a non-febrile typical intermittent diseases. And second type of typical intermittent diseases is febrile type, and it contains the fever to the patients. So in 234 they again explain about the non-febrile typical intermittent diseases. What is the character of non-febrile intermittent diseases and what should be the treatment for non-febrile intermittent diseases. So in aphorism number 234, it is regarding the characters and the treatment of non-febrile intermittent diseases. So what is this? These diseases usually seen individually in a single patient, the non-febrile disease condition. They are not appearing sporadically or epidemically. As these are the chronic diseases found in a single patient, they are not appearing sporadically and epidemically. They are part or parcel of chronic diseases. Usually such diseases are caused by SORA, but sometimes they get complicated with syphilis. And in order to treat such diseases, physician has to administer antisoric and antisyphilitic medicines. In order to eradicate the intermittent nature of the disease, physician has to administer few of the doses of cinchona. So this is the non-febrile intermittent diseases. We may take example as a epilepsy. It is one of the chronic condition, and in which the patient having the chronic condition affects individually. It may be caused due to SORA, or sometimes it may be complicated with syphilis. In this, in order to treat such diseases, physician has to administer the antisoric and the antisyphilitic medicine. And in order to eradicate the intermittent nature of the disease, the physician has to administer few of the doses of cinchona medicines to the patient, and in this we may take example of a epilepsy. So this is aphorism number 234. Then aphorism number 235, it is regarding the sporadic or the epidemic intermittent fever or the febrile type of intermittent diseases. That is second type of typical intermittent diseases. Febrile typical intermittent diseases, we commonly call it as a intermittent fevers. So it may be a sporadic fever, it may be epidemic fever, it may be endemic fever, or it may be pandemic fever. So these fevers are related as a intermittent fever, and in these fevers, in such diseases, every attack of disease is composed of two or three opposite alternating state, like cold heat or a heat cold or a cold heat sweat stage. So in these diseases, the attack of the disease is composed of two or three opposite alternating state. In patient, we have to find the two or three opposite alternating state in patient, like cold heat stage, heat cold stage, or it may be cold heat sweat stage. So thus, for these typical febrile diseases or the intermittent fevers, thus the remedy selected for such diseases should cover this whole similar series of alternating state during attack, or it should be able to produce similar state to the most strongest peculiar alternating state with its accessory symptoms, but the symptoms of the patient state of health during intervals are the chief guide for the selection of most appropriate homeopathic remedy. So what should be the treatment for these sporadic and the epidemic disease condition? In this, in aphorism number 235, they explain as the remedy is to be selected from among the non-antisoric medicine. Means the remedy we select for this disease condition, it is from the non-antisoric medicine. The remedy must be able to produce in healthy body, that is two similar alternating state. Means the remedy has the capacity to produce in the healthy body, that is two or three alternating state, that is cold heat stage, heat cold stage, or a cold heat sweat stage. And the most appropriate remedy would be that which corresponds to the general symptoms of the patient during the interval between the attacks. Means the most appropriate remedy would be that which corresponds to the general symptoms of the patient during the interval between the attacks. Means the patient is free from two attacks. The time period between these two attacks is, we have to record the general symptoms, and that general symptom may match with the remedy symptom, and the most appropriate remedy would be that which corresponds the general symptom of the patient during the interval between the attacks. So this is explaining in aphorism number 235. Now in today's lecture we are starting with aphorism number 236. So what is explaining in this aphorism, that is time of administration of medicine in intermittent fever. What should be the time of administration of medicine in the intermittent fevers, means for the febrile diseases. This is one of the type of a typical intermittent diseases. So first I will read the aphorism. Aphorism number 236. The most appropriate and efficacious time for administering the medicine in these cases is immediately or very soon after the termination of paroxysms, as soon as the patient has in some degrees recovered from its effects. It has then time to effect all the changes in the organism requisite for the restoration of health without any great disturbance or violent commotion, whereas the action of a medicine, be it ever so specifically appropriate, if given immediately before the paroxysm coincides with the natural recurrence of the disease and causes such a reaction in the organism, such a violent contention, that an attack of that nature produces at the very least a great loss of strength, if it do not endanger life. But if the medicine be given immediately after the termination of the fit, that is to say, at the period when the apyretic interval has commenced and a long time before there are any preparations for the next paroxysmus, then the vital force of the organism is in the best possible condition to allow itself to be quietly altered by the remedy and thus restored to the healthy state. So, this is aphorism number 236. And what is explaining in this aphorism, that is regarding the time of administration of medicine in intermittent fevers. So, what should be the time of administration of medicine in intermittent fevers? That is, the best time to administer the medicine in intermittent fever is immediately after the paroxysms is over, because when the paroxysms attack is over, the vital force of an individual is in the best condition to allow itself to alter with the remedy, and thus and the state of the health of the individual is restored without any disturbance and without any complication. On the contrary, if the medicine is given just before the paroxysms, then it commences with natural disease and produces natural disease aggravation, which endangers the life of the individual. So, what is the time of administration of medicine to the patient in a intermittent fevers? Is the best time the medicine should be administered is immediately after the paroxysms is over. Means the attack, the two patient having the two attacks, in this there is a time period where the patient is free from attack, and if first attack means the first paroxysmus is over, the you may give the medicine at that time, as because when the paroxysms attack is over, the vital force of an individual is in the best condition to allow itself to alter with the remedy, as this is the best time to give the medicine, because the attack is over, the vital force of an individual is in the best condition to allow itself to the altered with the remedy, and the state of health of the individual is restored without any disturbance and without any complication. And if you not giving medicine on this time, on the contrary, if the medicine is given just before the paroxysms, then it commences with a natural disease and produces the natural disease aggravation, which endangers the life of the individual. So you have to give the medicine just after the paroxysms. So this is the best time to give the medicine in the intermittent fevers. This is explaining aphorism number 236. Then what is given in aphorism number 237? First I will read the aphorism. But if the stage of apyrexia be very short, as happens in some very bad fevers, or if it is disturbed by some of the after sufferings of the previous paroxysms, the dose of the homeopathic medicine should be administered when the perspiration begins to apt or other subsequent phenomena of the expiring paroxysms begin to diminish. So what is explaining in this aphorism, that is 237, it is regarding the administration of the remedy and too short apyrexia state. Means if the apyrexia state is too short, there is no gap between the two intervals of the fevers, then what should be the time of administration of medicine? And in these cases, if the stage of apyrexia is too short and second attack comes too soon within no time, then the medicine should be administered when the perspiration start to decrease or the attack begins to end. Means when the first attack is begins to end or when there is a sweating stage, at this stage you have to give the medicines to the patient. If the short apyrexia state is present, that is there is a stage of apyrexia that is too short and the second attack comes soon within no time, in this condition you have to prescribe the medicine when the perspiration start or the decrease and the attack begins to end, that is before the attack begins to end and the second attack started. So in this case you have to prescribe the medicine in sweating stage. So this is regarding the aphorism number 237. So this is aphorism 236 and 237. These are regarding the time of administration of the remedy in intermittent fevers. And in this, the proper time of administrating the medicine is discussed in these aphorism, that is 236 and 237. So in this, the most appropriate and efficacious time for administering the medicine is shortly after the fever has remitted and there is enough time left before the appearance of the next attack. In this, by this way, the system finds sufficient time to get prepared for the next attack. If the medicine is given during or just before the onset of the fever, homeopathic aggravation may cause serious, if not death, at times in weak individuals. And but sometimes the pyrexial stage is very long. Here, administration of the medicine should not be delayed till the complete remission. The medicine should be rather administered at a relatively smooth stage or during the decline period of the paroxysms of the fever. During this period, vital force is more susceptible to action of remedy. So this is regarding the aphorism number 236 and 237 and what should be the time of administration of remedy in the intermittent fevers. Now in aphorism number 238, it is regarding the repetition of the medicine. How the medicines repeated in intermittent fevers. In this, first I will read the aphorism number 238. 238. Not infrequently, the suitable medicine has with a single dose destroyed several attacks and brought about the return of the health, but in the majority of cases, another dose must be administered after each attack. Better still, however, when the character of the symptom has not changed, dose of the same medicine given according to the newer discovery of repetition of doses may be given. So it is regarding the aphorism number 238, that is without difficulty, by dynamizing each successive dose with 10 to 20 succussions of the vital containing while containing the medicinal substance. Nevertheless, there are at times cases, though seldom, where the intermittent fever returns after several days well-being. This return of the same fever after a healthy interval is only possible is only possible where the intermittent fever returns after several days well-being. This return of the same fever after a healthy interval is only possible when the noxious principle that first caused the fever is still acting upon the convalescent, as is the case in marshy regions. Here a permanent restoration can often take place only by getting away from this causative factor, as is possible by seeking the mountainous retreat if the cause was marshy fever. So, this is aphorism number 238, and in this they explain about what should be the repetition of medicines in intermittent fevers. In this, they explain about repetition of dose and removal of maintaining cause. How to do the repetition of dose of the medicine and how to remove the maintaining cause in these cases. In this, they explain as most of the time for such diseases, if physician selects that remedy which is homeopathic specific remedy, then a single dose is sufficient to eradicate the several attack. But if there is recurrence, repeat the same medicine after every attack with increasing the potency. Means most of the time for such diseases, if physician selects that remedy which is homeopathic specific remedy, then a single dose is sufficient to eradicate the several attack. Means if the homeopathic remedy is similimum, the single dose is sufficient to eradicate the several attacks. But if there is a recurrence, repeat the same medicine after every week attack with increasing the potency. Means if there is a recurrence of the attack, you have to repeat the same medicine after every attack with increasing the potency. Means the attack is recur at certain times, at that time you have to use the same medicine but with increasing potency. And if again there is appearance of a next attack, in that case you have to use the same medicine but again with a increasing potency. So this is the repetition of medicine or repetition of dose during the intermittent fevers. And but many of the times intermittent fevers recurs after several days. It indicates that the morbific influence which first excited the intermittent fever still continues to act, which will work as a maintaining cause, that is living in marshy places. The permanent cure is such diseases is only possible by removing this maintaining cause. Like place of residence should be changed to mountainous places. Means if the patient, sorry, if the physician is selecting the proper medicine and he is doing the exact repetition of the medicine, and then only if the disease condition is not subside or not cures, in that case the if the attack is reoccurrence again and again, in that case you have to see the any maintaining causes present behind these intermittent fevers. That is many of the times intermittent fevers recurs after several days. It indicates that there is some morbific influence which first excited the intermittent fever still continue to act. Means there is some exciting cause, and that exciting cause may stimulate these intermittent fevers again and again, and which will work as a maintaining cause. Means that exciting cause may work as a maintaining cause, as it again and again excited the disease condition and it convert the exciting cause into the maintaining cause. That is in, it may take example as a, that is persons living in a marshy places. The permanent cure in such diseases is only possible by removing this maintaining cause. Means it is only possible by removing the maintaining cause of these disease conditions. Like place of residence residence should be changed to mountainous places. Means if the person is living in a marshy place and he is again and again suffering from a recurrent fevers, intermittent fevers, in that case you have to see any maintaining causes behind it, and in that cases you have to change the place of residence of that patient, and the residence should be changed to a mountainous places. So this is regarding the repetition of the dose of medicine and how the removal of maintaining cause is there to treat the patient permanently. So this is explaining in aphorism number 238, that is what should be the repetition of the medicine. In that case you have to select the proper medicine, or if the homeopathic medicine is a specific remedy, then a single dose is sufficient to cure the several attacks. But if the attack is recur at some specific time, you have to give the medicine after every attack, the same medicine after every attack with increasing potency. Means you have to repeat the same medicine but with increasing potency after every attack till the attacks cures permanently. So this is aphorism number 238. Now we will shift towards the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 239. So first I will read the aphorism, and in this aphorism they explain about every medicine causes different fevers. So what is given in aphorism number 239? As almost every medicine causes in its pure action a special peculiar fever and even a kind of intermittent fever with its alternating state differing from the all other fevers that are caused by other medicines, homeopathic remedies may be found in the extensive of domain of medicines for all the numerous varieties of natural intermittent fevers, and for a great many of such fevers, even in the moderate collection of medicines already proved on the healthy individuals. So what is explaining in this aphorism, that is every medicine causes different fevers in individual, that is while proving every medicine causes a peculiar type of fever with its alternating state which is different from other medicines. Means every medicine produces a different alternating state which is different from other medicine, and there are different homeopathic remedies for all the numerous varieties of intermittent fevers, and we have a lot of number of homeopathic medicines that cover or that having the varieties of intermittent fevers. So this is regarding the number of medicines present in homeopathy that having a intermittent fevers or a varieties of intermittent fevers, and that are sufficient to cure any type of intermittent fevers that may alternate with different kind of medicines. Means the different kind of medicine produces a different alternating state, and we have that number of medicines which will cover, or there are different homeopathic remedies for the numerous varieties of intermittent fevers that may cure the different intermittent fevers permanently. So this is regarding the aphorism number 239. Then aphorism number 240. What is given in aphorism number 240? This is the aphorism in which the intermittent fever and the antisoric remedy. It explained about the intermittent fever and the antisoric remedy. In this, but if the remedy found to be the homeopathic specific for a prevalent epidemic of intermittent fever do not effect a perfect cure in some one or other patient, if it be not the influence of a marshy district that prevents the cure, it must always be the soric miasm in the background, in which case antisoric medicines must be employed until complete relief is obtained. So this is aphorism number 240, and what is explaining in this aphorism, that is the intermittent fevers and the antisoric remedy. That is, after recording of the case of a patient suffering from epidemic intermittent fever and after giving proper specific homeopathic remedy, as well as after removal of maintaining cause, if there is no complete restoration of the health, the physician should came to the conclusion that the psoric miasm is in the background and the patient should be treated by giving proper antipsoric remedy. So this is explaining in aphorism number 240, as we select a proper specific homeopathic remedy for the intermittent fever, and after this we also remove the maintaining cause which is present behind this. If all the conditions are okay and if patient is not cured, in that case the physician may think of a psoric remedy, that is antisoric remedy, as there must be a psoric cause behind this disease condition, and to complete the cure of these patients of intermittent fevers, the patient has to select the proper antisoric remedy and he have to prescribe these medicines to this patient, and then the patient becomes permanently cured. So this is explaining in aphorism number 240 regarding the use of antisoric medicine in these intermittent fevers. After prescribing the exact specific homeopathic remedy also, after removing the maintaining cause also, if the patient is not recovered, in that case the physician has to select the proper antisoric medicine and he has to cure the patient permanently. So these are aphorisms related to the intermittent fevers. So we will summarize these aphorisms as in 231 we studied intermittent diseases, and this classified into typical, atypical intermittent diseases, typical again divided into febrile, non-febrile and alternating diseases. Then in 232 it is regarding the alternating diseases only. Then 233 it is regarding the typical intermittent diseases. Then aphorism number 234 it is regarding the character and the treatment of non-febrile intermittent diseases. Then from aphorism number 235 it started with a febrile intermittent diseases, or we also call it as a intermittent fevers. And in these febrile diseases are intermittent fever comprises paroxysms of two opposite alternating state, that may be cold heat stage, heat cold stage, or that may be heat cold or sweat stage, that is two or three state alternating conditions. Then there is a character of febrile diseases. So what are the characters? In this every paroxysms consist slowly of heat. Others again are characterized by cold alone with or without subsequent sweat. Each individual case shows different physical and mental symptoms during the paroxysms and in between two paroxysms. These intermittent fevers have chronic psoric miasm as the fundamental cause. So these are the characters of febrile diseases. Then in 235 we studied about the treatment regarding the non-febrile diseases. In this, the remedy is to be selected from among the antisoric medicine. The medicine or the remedy must be able to produce in the healthy body two similar alternating state. Then the most appropriate remedy would be that which corresponds to the general symptoms of the patient during the interval between the attacks. Then in aphorism number 236 and 237 it is regarding the time of administration of medicine in intermittent fever, and in this we studied about what should be the time of administration. The time of administration must be, that is the best time for the administration of medicine in intermittent fever is immediately after the paroxysms is over, because when the paroxysms attack is over, the vital force of an individual is in the best condition to allow itself to alter with the remedy, and the state of health of the individual is restored without any disturbance and without any complication. On the contrary, if the medicine is given just before the paroxysms, then it commences with natural disease and produces the natural disease aggravation, which endangers the life of the individual. So, this is regarding aphorism number 236. Then, aphorism number 237, it explains about the time of administration of remedy if the in too short a pyrexia state, means if there is no any gap between the two attacks in the individual. In that case, what should be the time of administration of medicine? And in this case, if the stage of apyrexia is too short, means apyrexia means there is absence of pyrexia condition. If the stage of apyrexia is too short and the second attack comes soon within no time, then the medicine should be administered when the perspiration start to decrease or the attack begins to end. Means in that condition, the medicine should be given in a sweat stage, that is when the perspiration start to decrease and the attack begins to end. Where the attack is begins to end, at that time you have to give the medicine where the short apyrexia state is present in the patient. So these aphorisms, aphorism number 236 and 237, are regarding the administration of the remedy to the patient in intermittent fevers. Then aphorism number 238, it is regarding the repetition of the dose and removal of maintaining cause. So what should be the repetition of dose in intermittent fevers? In that, the most of the time for such diseases, if physician selects that remedy which is homeopathic specific remedy, then a single dose is sufficient to eradicate the several attacks. Means if the medicine selected is a specific homeopathic remedy, that single medicine is sufficient to remove the attack in the patient, but sufficient to eradicate the several attack. But if there is a recurrence of the attack, repeat the same medicine after every attack with increasing potency. Means if the recurrence of the attack is occurs, in that case you have to repeat the same medicine after every attack with increasing the potency. This is regarding the repetition of dose of a medicine in intermittent fevers. Then what should be the removal of maintaining cause? In that, but many of the times intermittent fevers recurs after several days. It indicates that the morbific influence which first excited the intermittent fever still continue to act, which will work as a maintaining cause. Means there are some exciting causes which excites these intermittent fevers, and after a long time this excited cause becomes the maintaining cause of that disease condition. In this they give example as a patient living in a marshy places suffering from a different kind of intermittent fevers and having the recurrence of that intermittent fevers. And if you select the proper medicine, specific medicine, and you should do the repetition of the same medicine with increasing potency, then also the patient not cure permanently, then in that cases there must be some maintaining cause which is present behind this disease condition, and when you remove the maintaining cause, then and then only there must be a permanent cure. And in that case the permanent cure in such diseases is only possible by removing this maintaining cause, like place of the residence should be changed to a mountainous places. Means if the patient is living in a marshy place, you have to change the place of residence of the patient, that should be changed to a mountainous place. So this is explaining in aphorism number 238. Then in aphorism number 239 they explain about, that is while proving every medicine causes a peculiar type of fever with its alternating states, which is different from other medicines. There are different homeopathic remedies for all the numerous varieties of intermittent fevers. So in homeopathy there are numerous homeopathic remedies that having a different alternating stages present in them, which is different from other medicines, and there are different homeopathic remedies for all the numerous varieties of intermittent fever that is present in homeopathy. So this is explaining in aphorism number 239. Then in aphorism number 240 they explain about the intermittent fever and the antisoric remedies. That is, after recording of the case of a patient suffering from an epidemic intermittent fever and after giving a proper specific homeopathic remedy, as well as after removal of maintaining cause, if there is no complete restoration of health, the physician should came to the conclusion that the soric miasm is in the background and the patient should be treated by giving proper antisoric remedy. That is, if you give the specific remedy, if you remove the maintaining cause, then also the patient is not recover. In that case, the sora may be the cause of the disease, and in these cases you have to prescribe the deep acting antisoric remedy to the patient, and then only the permanent cure is possible. So this is explaining in aphorism number 240. So in this today's lecture we finish the aphorism number 236 to 240. So these are regarding the febrile intermittent diseases. So up till now we finished aphorism number 231 to 240. Now the last 4 aphorisms are remaining regarding the intermittent diseases. So these 4 aphorisms are, that is 241, 242, 243 and 244. So these are the aphorisms 231 to 244 regarding the intermittent diseases, in which we are discussing about the types of what is mean by intermittent diseases and types of intermittent diseases, what should be the time of administration of the remedy, and what should be the repetition of medicine or treatment of these intermittent diseases. So in this we studied what is mean by intermittent diseases, the intermittent diseases which recur at certain periods, that are divided into typical intermittent diseases, atypical intermittent diseases and alternating diseases. Then typical intermittent diseases again divided into febrile intermittent diseases, afebrile intermittent diseases and atypical intermittent diseases. So these are the different types of intermittent diseases. Intermittent diseases are different and the intermittent fevers are different. The febrile diseases or the febrile typical intermittent diseases, also called as intermittent fevers. So there is difference between intermittent diseases and intermittent fevers. Intermittent fever, it is one of the type of a intermittent disease. So this is regarding the intermittent diseases. I hope all of you understand. If you have any query, you can ask me personally anytime. So we will stop here and we will see the next aphorism in next lecture. So thank you friends.